Buenos días, buenas noches, buenas tardes a todos ustedes, mis amigos. This is lesson 12. We will continue the subject pronouns. I'll be giving you a few new ones here because we were in the singular side of things. Now we're going to be adding plural to that as another element. We'll be looking at all the different types of verbs in the simple present tense, including ser and estar. And then we'll have some adjectives again you can use to describe physical characteristics or personalities as well as feelings. And then a review of some foods and beverages, including adding las verduras, vegetables, at the end. After spending some time dealing with the singular pronouns, the yo, tú, él, ella, usted, now we're going to be going over to the plural side. We have nosotros, also nosotras if it's we, and we are all females, nosotros if it's all males or males and females, and nosotras if it's all females, we. All of those mean we. Ellos, they, ellas, they, and ustedes, you all, yuns, yous guys, because in English there is no plural you, and so sometimes regionally we clarify in that way to distinguish between a single you. So once we have a subject for a sentence, then we have to put in a verb. And remember that in Spanish, you can omit saying or writing the subject if it's understood, but you cannot omit the verb. The verb will then agree with the subject. So whoever is doing this action, we have to take notice of, because we will be changing the ending of the verb depending on who is doing the action. Bailar, bailar. Beber, beber. Leer, leer. Leer un libro. Vivir, vivir. Escribir, escribir. Hablar por teléfono, hablar por teléfono. Textear, textear. Correr, correr. correr mucho y muy rápido. Comprender, comprender. Aprender, aprender. Trabajar, trabajar. Cocinar, cocinar. Estudiar, estudiar. Comer, comer. This slide is just an explanation of what the word conjugation or conjugation means. We take a verb, and in Spanish, the basic verbs all end in R, either AR, ER, IR, and then we look at the subject and we change the ending so to the right form to correspond to that subject. That is conjugating a verb. Here we have the forms for the singular form of the verb hablar. Yo hablo, tú hablas, ella, él, usted habla. On the previous slide, we used the verb, AR verb, hablar, and we gave the three singular forms. Here we're taking another AR verb, trabajar. Yo trabajo, tú trabajas, él, ella, usted trabaja. And you'll notice that they obey the same rule as we followed with hablar. We have the same forms. So this is not a haphazard type thing. There is a pattern, there are rules, and once you learn them, that will kind of indicate what you need to do in every sentence. And one more verb to prove my point. Another AR verb, cantar, and it is in the singular. Yo canto, tú cantas, él, ella, usted canta. Taking those verbs and putting them in real sentences where you have a subject and verb and some other complement, other information. Examples. Ella baila mucho. María trabaja con Juan. Tú cocinas tacos hoy. Yo escucho la música. So all of these are AR verbs. We've got bailar, trabajar, cocinar, and escuchar. And they all obey the same rules that we've just seen with these examples. And you just put them, you look at what the subject is and put the correct ending on the verb. Moving on to the ER and IR verbs, let's see what they do with the endings in their singular forms. Yo como, tú comes, él, ella, usted come. Comer is to eat. Vivir, to live. Yo vivo, tú vives, él vive, ella, usted vive. So if you compare, you want to compare comer and vivir in how they're conjugated, and we notice something immediately. They are exactly the same in the singular forms. Again, let's follow the pattern. Let's follow the rule for ER, IR verbs with the two additional verbs, beber and escribir. Bebo, bebes, tú bebes, yo bebo, él, ella, usted bebe, yo escribo, tú escribes, él, ella, usted escribe? Some ER, IR sample sentences. Ella come mucho. María bebe refrescos. Those are soft drinks. Tú lees un libro. Yo vivo en Kent. These are the reasons or the situations in which we use the simple present tense in Spanish to say what someone does at a specific time or frequency. For example, I eat in the morning. I work at 4 o'clock, or I work every day, etc. Those are specific time or frequency statements. And then you can use it to say when someone is doing something at the very moment that you're speaking. This is different than in English because English has a different form to indicate when you are doing something in the moment. So here is the key question when you're dealing with activities. What are you doing or what do you do? We use the verb hacer, which means to do or to make. So ¿qué haces can mean different things in English. It can mean what do you do, what are you doing? It could also mean what do you make or what are you making. If you're looking at somebody in the kitchen or in the carpentry shop, you might say ¿qué haces? What are you making here? Example, ¿qué haces los sábados? A frequency of what do you do on Saturdays? Yo bailo con mis amigos. En ¿qué haces solo? When you're alone, solo. Yo miro la tele. Yo miro la tele. Yo forms of AR verbs, both of these. And using an ER verb here, two ER verbs. ¿Qué haces los sábados? The same question, but we're answering with an ER verb. Yo leo con mis amigos. ¿Qué haces solo? Yo bebo un vaso de leche. Vaso is a glass. This is a major difference between the two languages. English requires a subject and a verb. That subject can be a noun, it can be a pronoun, but it has to be there with the verb or you do not have a complete sentence. Spanish, when the subject is understood, you may omit it and just go with the verb, but the verb has to be in the correct form. So even though you don't write or say the subject, you have to think the subject to know who you're talking about because you have to fix the ending of the verb so it matches that omitted subject. Now we'll go from the land of the singular to the land of the plural and see what we do here. The same as in when we were dealing with the singular pronouns and making the endings of the verbs agree with those pronouns, we have to do the same here. The plural pronouns require proper endings for the verbs, and we will learn what they are here in this lesson. So we saw yo, tú, él, ella, usted. Now we have as pronouns nosotros, we, ellos, ellas, ustedes, they, female, they, feminine, all females, and ustedes, you all, you guys, plural, you. We go back to the AR verb hablar, and you see what we already learned. Yo hablo, tú hablas, él, ella, usted habla. However, when we go on the plural side and we say nosotros, we have another new form here, hablamos. And then ellos, ellas, ustedes, we have the form hablan. So there are a total of 5 forms that you're learning for each verb in the simple present tense. Again, you'll see the pattern and the repetition. we're taking a different AR verb, bailar, and conjugating it. Yo bailo, tú bailas, él, ella, usted baila, nosotros bailamos, ellos, ustedes, ellas, ustedes, ellos bailan. So these are exactly the same as the previous AR verb that we looked at on the previous slide. Coming up with some sentences where you have a plural subject, the verb in the plural form with the plural ending. Ellos bailan en la noche. María y Juan, two people, trabajan, the AN ending, con esperanza. Tú y ella, again, plural, two people, cocinan tacos hoy. Manuel y yo, I'm included, so we're going to go with a nosotros form. Manuel y yo escuchamos la música. We go to an ER verb that we've seen before, comer. We go yo como, tú comes, él, ella, usted come. On the singular side, we move over to the plural side, nosotros comemos. Ellos, ustedes, ellas comen. And we go to an IR verb, yo vivo, tú vives, él, ella, usted vive. And we said that the endings for IR verbs are the same as the endings for ER verbs in the singular form. But we come over here and we say, nosotros vivimos, and ellos, ellas, ustedes viven. So if we compare the ER, IR verbs all around, including the plural, we see there is suddenly a change in the nosotros form. Ellos comen mucho. La profesora y yo bebemos refrescos. Tú y Juan leen un libro. Tú y yo vivimos en Kent. The point of this exercise is to give you practice, but also to let you get a feel for all of the things you've already learned in this class. You just need to put them to use and practice them so that you become more and more fluent with them, more and more comfortable